We are travelling to the tiny island nation of Brunei. Found on the north edge of Borneo, Brunei is just over 5,700 kilometres squared, or roughly twice the size of Luxembourg. Despite its small size and only having a population of around 450,000 people, Brunei is the second richest country in East Asia after Singapore. This is due to Brunei being the region's third largest oil producer, with the country's main exports being oil and natural gas. Brunei is also one of the last remaining absolute monarchies in the world, with the Sultan of Brunei holding absolute power and living in the world's largest residential palace. The country's exports have made the Sultan one of the wealthiest men in the world, with an estimated worth of over $30 billion. The Sultan reportedly owns 500 Rolls Royces and spends up to $20,000 on his haircuts. In Brunei, education and healthcare is free for all residents, and they also pay no income or sales tax. However, they are required to contribute a small portion of their earnings to a state trust fund. Unfortunately, however, Brunei is less famous for these things, and instead most people are familiar with Brunei after the Sultan drew international condemnation in 2019 when he updated the country's penal code to impose death by stoning as a punishment for adultery and homosexuality, and amputations for theft. But we know that a country's government and its people are not the same, and it's often easy to generalise a population based on a country's leaders and policies. So we're heading to Brunei with an open mind to see what this tiny nation has to offer.
So first impressions of the hotel is really positive. So they have this complimentary shuttle bus service. First of all, they picked us up from the airport, which we didn't realise until we had an email from them saying, "What time would you like to be picked up?" And then when we got here, they gave us this little map of all the points of interest in the area. She labelled the ones that are about a 15-minute walk from us. And then we've got this, the complimentary shuttle service, where you arrange whichever one you want to go to and they'll take you there and then pick you up on the way back. This place looks like it would be so cool if it was open and wasn't raining. So we are going to come back here when it's daytime because we're going to find out more about this Grand Mosque, which is one of the main attractions of Brunei. So it's KFC for dinner simply because it's basically the only place that's still open. I don't know whether it's because Brunei is just a quiet country or if it's because of the rain, but Monday nights are not. There's not a lot going on. The first stop is the big mosque in the centre of Brunei. I won't say the name because I'll definitely get it wrong. But it was built by the previous Sultan and then named after him, from what we can gather, who is the current Sultan's dad. Still a little too quiet.
One of the other big things to do in Brunei is to take a boat trip up along the river and see the floating village and the mangrove trees, and then things like the monkeys, and then possibly crocodiles. And so we've come for a walk down by the river to see if we can find someone to take us out on a boat for the afternoon, because you only need like an hour or two to go and see everything. And someone literally just pulled up alongside us along the railings and said, do we want to get a boat trip? So we've got both of us for 30 Brunei dollars for an hour trip. What did you just spot?
A real crocodile.
You just spotted a real crocodile. What is it?
Crocodile.
It's not a crocodile.
It is.
It's too small to be a crocodile.
Listen, it's a crocodile. This is Kampong Ayer. It's a collection of neighbourhoods that sits on top of the Brunei River right in the middle of the capital city. Nicknamed Venice of the East, Kampong Ayer is the world's largest floating village. However, there aren't just houses here, there are also shops, police stations, fire stations, schools and mosques.
That was so much cooler than I thought it was going to be. Like, I knew that we'd enjoy it, but it was just even better than I thought. And I'm also really excited that we saw a crocodile, because they said that we might see it, but I didn't actually expect to see one.
Any longer than an hour would be too long, I think, because my body's already asleep, so I don't know how it would cope with another half an hour or so.
Also, the thing I didn't expect, seeing like other people's videos, was I didn't realise that the floating village was so close to everything. Like, you can literally see the big mosque from the floating village, which I didn't expect. But he had to take us quite far out down the river to get to like the mangrove trees and to see the long-nosed monkeys. But they were really cool. So it's midday now. We've done the mosque and we've done the boat trip down the river and seen the floating village. And that's covered two of the like main attractions to do in Brunei on the first morning that we're here. So we're gonna walk to the mall now. We're gonna go and get some lunch and then see what other things we can do to fill both this afternoon and tomorrow, and then our final morning here before we get our flight back to Kuala Lumpur. Georgia got really sunburnt.
My first ever t-shirt tan.
We've kind of run out of things to do. The other things we plan to do are a bit far away, and we've decided that we don't want to do them anymore. So since we have the rest of the day before we go home, we looked and there's a waterfall not that far away from the hotel we're staying at. So we're going to take a walk up there and go and see it. But the only thing is it's starting to look quite rainy, so it might rain before we get there, so we'll see.
Yep, it absolutely hammered down, and now we're stuck under this teeny tiny little shelter. Our hotel is only there. It's like probably about 5-minute walk, but I don't really want to do it here. We spent the afternoon in our room because it was raining and it was too wet to do anything. And we came out to go and get some food, and it was dry, and as soon as we stepped outside, the lightning started, the thunder started, and it is pouring it down again.
This is the first time since we started travelling in 2 months that we've actually worn these raincoats. We can also finally use our Fjällräven backpack rain cover, which was shockingly expensive.
This was a terrible idea!
Should we go back? At least our Fjällräven backpack stayed nice and dry. And
It didn't! What? It's soaking!
what a waste of money!
Why go out in the rain when you can have pizza delivered?
Oh yeah, love.
Oh yeah, love.
Overall, we really enjoyed our time in Brunei. The country has a lot to offer and the people we met were incredibly friendly. We did do some other things that didn't make the video, and unfortunately the rainy weather interfered with some of our activities, but we were in Brunei for about 2.5 days and we felt this was a good amount of time to explore the capital city. If we had stayed for longer, we probably would have spent more time exploring the rest of the country, especially the forests and national parks.